there has been a number of misleading statements made about Darren Wilson, who was the shooting police officer in the case of Michael Brown. One of those people who made a misleading statement was a conservative blogger by the name of Jim Hoft. Now, to give you some more details on what he said and why he was wrong, the blogger, who calls himself the Gateway Pundit, based his report on two unnamed sources, including one within the prosecuting attorney's office and confirmed by the St. Louis County Police. Okay, so what did these individuals tell him? They told him, supposedly, that Darren Wilson suffered from a, quote, orbital blowout fracture to the eye socket, indicating that he had broken bones around his eye socket, okay, which sounds very, very serious. And that's not exactly what happened. The source says it is not true at all. He did not have a torn eye socket. This is according to Don Lemon, who did some fact checking. And so he's saying that, unequivocally, denies that, saying that it did not happen, but he did have a swollen face. He did go for x-rays. So he did have a swollen face, but he did not have any broken bones on his face, right?
Now, that's weird. I thought that Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly several times referred to a broken eye socket. Yet it appears that that was made up by not only a conservative blogger, that they just, I thought they told us to wait for the facts. That's what I'm really surprised at, right? But a conservative blogger that is now, that's known on the internet, not before this, by some he's called, quote, the dumbest man on the internet. Like, that's a quote. That's that guy has a reputation as being the dumbest man on the internet. He makes up something, and Fox News runs with it. Busted eye socket.
Another person, other than conservative blogger Jim Hoft, was also spreading this misinformation, and it's probably a public figure that you're familiar with. Let's take a look.
But MSNBC put a person on the air who said Mr. Brown was shot in the back. That turns out to be false, according to an autopsy. We also hear today that Officer Wilson has an orbital blowout fracture of his eye socket. The factor has not been able to confirm that, and we do not want to try this case on television. We're only reporting the alleged injury to demonstrate that there will be much more to come in this case.
Amazing. That's amazing. We haven't confirmed it. This is probably not true, but we're just saying it just so you hold tight for more information in the future.
Yeah, that other thing that they said that was against our case, that wasn't true, and they said it without confirming it. By the way, here's something that's not confirmed. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? So that's a proof that the people who watch this show are so old that the reason why they're not turning the channel is because they're hooked up to an IV, right? And they can't reach the thing. Why would you watch that? I mean, obviously, it doesn't take but 2 brain cells to see through that bullshit, right? I like how he has that little bit of anger, too. He's so fucking pissed off at these blackies. It's so funny.
Yeah, he literally stopped his vacation early to come yell at black people.
Yeah.
Okay, and then make up facts about it while he's saying, make sure that you wait for the facts.
Yeah.
It's the exact same trick Sean Hannity used yesterday when he was talking, or we reported on it yesterday when he was talking to a Democratic committee woman. Okay, and he's like, okay, now you weren't there, were you? In fact, okay, let's go to the videotape.
So
let me educate you, committee woman.
Police brutality.
Let me educate you about the legal system in America. You can try to talk over me, but let me tell you, our system of justice, a person is innocent until proven guilty, and there are eyewitness reports tonight that the officer suffered severe facial injuries, had an orbital eye socket fracture, and that Michael Brown charged at him. The officer has severe facial injuries, an orbital eye socket fracture, and eyewitnesses say that Michael Brown charged at him. You weren't there. What if that turns out to be true in our court system? Then that would mean you're wrong, doesn't it?
Turns out not to be true.
And that would mean you were wrong, right,
Jesus
Sean?
Christ.
Okay. Yeah. So now yesterday I went after him for this, and I'm sure because he says, look, you weren't there. And then I asked Sean, hey, were you there?
Yeah.
Of course, he wasn't there. He says, wait for the facts, but he makes up stuff about eye sockets. Now we know that it's not true. So, Sean, I assume that you're going to be apologizing to me today. So I'm awaiting that apology.